Hello everyone and welcome back to English Vanessa. In today's video, we'll discuss the poem Strange Meeting by Wilfred Owen. So the poem explores themes of war, humanity, and the deep sadness caused by conflict. So let's dive in. So here the title of the poem is Strange Meeting by Wilfred Owen. It's highly appropriate because it captured the essence of the encounter between the two soldiers in the afterlife. Here, the word strange, it suggests something unusual or unexpected. And what's that unexpected? That is a meeting between these two dead persons in hell. So there is no doubt it's unusual. It is an anti war poem about two dead soldiers from the opposite camp meeting in the afterlife. So here the poet conveys the message of pity of war through their conversation. If we talk about the structure of the poem, is a four stanza poem containing 44 lines and it is one of the lengthiest poem of Evan. So this poem written by Wilfred Owen, who is a renowned English poet who served as a soldier during World War One. So the poem was written sometimes in 1918 and first published posthumously means after his death in 1919 in Owen's poetry collection, the title of which The Poems of Wilfred Owen, which was edited by his friend Siegfried Sassoon. He is another prominent poet. So Strange Meeting itself is considered one of Owen's masterpieces which explore themes of war, suffering, and the futility of conflict. Talk about the background of this poem. So, Wilfred Owen wrote Strange Meeting during World War One, a conflict that profoundly impacted the world and shaped Owen's experiences and poetry. So, born in 1893, Owen joined the British Army in 1915 and served as a soldier on the Western Front in France. During his time in the trenches, Owen witnessed the brutal realities of war, including the horror of the trench, warfare, gas attacks, and the loss of comrades. So these experiences deeply affected Owen and influenced his poetry, which often depicted the harsh truths of war and its devastating effects on soldiers' life. Strange Meeting, it was written in 1918 towards the end of the war, and it reflects Owen's growing disillusionment with the war. So the poem serves as a powerful critic of the futility of war and the toll it takes on individual and society as whole. Means the how the war can destroy someone's life. So tragically, Wilfred Owen did not live to see the publication of his poetry, including his strange meeting, because he was killed in action on November 4, 1918, just 1 week before the war ended. However, his poetry has since become celebrated for its vivid portrayal of the human cost of war and its enduring relevance in conveying the horror of war to future generations. Let's begin the poem. So, Wilfred Owen's poem Strange Meeting begins in a dark and deep tunnel, which the speaker later identifies as hell. Means it is depicted as a place beyond life where the souls of soldiers who perish in war find themselves after their earthly lives have ended. So, as I told you, there are four stanzas in the poem. So, here in the first, so let's see the meaning of this first stanza. There are three lines in the first stanza. It seems that out of battle I escaped down some profound dull tunnel, long since the scope through granite which titanic wars had groined. So here in the first three lines of this poem, the speaker he is describing how he escaped from the battlefield and finding himself in the deep dark tunnel. And this he is describing the structure of the tunnel, which was made through solid rock, and it was created long ago by massive wars. Means it is a part of the history. So the phrase it seems it suggests that speaker might be dreaming or experiencing something unreal. Here, the idea of escaping the battlefield gives a sense of relief from the horror of war because he's in the tunnel, so there is no sound of the gunshots or no bloodshed, which shows that the poem is not going to glorify war, but it rather highlight its dark and painful side. He mentioned that the tunnel, which was created by past wars, it symbolizes how history has been shaped by constant conflict and destruction. Means these wars are the part of history. Now let's begin the second stanza. There are 7 lines in the second stanza. So let's start it. Yet also there encumbered sleepers ground, too fast in thought or that to be bested. That means when the speaker escaped from the battlefield to find some solace or peace, so many people who are already in the tunnel, who are sleeping and groaning, who also escaped from the battlefield and they are injured now. So the speaker says that they are either too deeply asleep to be roused or they are dead. And the speaker also described the atmosphere. It was inside dark tunnel. This is not at all welcoming for the speaker who escaped from the horror of the battlefield to find some solace or peace, but it was horrific. And as I prompt them, one sprang up and stared with piteous recognition in fixed eyes. So, when the speaker tries to wake them, one soldier suddenly sits up and looks at him with a sad expression. It seems it he recognizing him, lifting distressful hands as if to bless. That means the soldier he lifted his hand sadly as he wished to bless the speaker. So this line suggests that even though they were enemy in life, but now they are sharing a common suffering in death, which shows the deep sadness and futility of war. Now, the line number 9 and 10. And by his smile, I knew that sullen hull. By his dead smile, I knew we stood in hell. That means the man who was smiling at the speaker, but it is not the smile of happiness, rather, it is a weird kind of a smile, which the speaker called dead smile. Means his smile helps the speaker identify the place is hell. With 1,000 fears, that visioned face was green, yet no blood reaches there from the upper ground, and no guns thumped or down the flues made moan. Now the speaker he says that the man who was lifting his hand is not real, but it is a vision. Means the man who is lifting his hand, he is already dead, and the speaker he can see the person's face which is full of fear and suffering from the trauma of the war, because the soldier likely also a victim of the war, so he looks deeply troubled. And the speaker finds this fear strange because there is no sign of blood, no gunshots, or the unusual sound of war reaching in the tunnel. Because he is in the tunnel, so there would be no bloodshed or no gunshot sound. There is a silence inside the tunnel, as with the usual noise of the battlefield. Here, the speaker addresses the soldier by mentioning as a strange friend because he's unfamiliar with the person. That's why he's calling him as a strange friend, because their meeting is unexpected. That's why the title of the poem is Strange Meeting. So here he says, strange friend, I said here is no cause to mourn. That means the speaker here reassuring him that there is no need for grief or to be sad because they are in the tunnel and they are safe. There is no bloodshed or and there is no sound of the gunshot. But the soldier said, none said that others save the undone ears, the hopelessness. Means the soldier here he responded by saying that he is not mourning his death, but rather the lost years of his life and the loss of hope because he is dead now. So you can see this reflects his sorrow for what he could have done with his life, but he never got the chance to do because of the war, and he is dead now. So he whatever hopes is your was my life also. So here he is talking about the future dream. He had dreams and hopes like the speaker has, but these were shattered by the violence of war. So the soldier seems to have lost his life at a very young age, and he's very unhappy about it. I went hunting wild after the wildest beauty in the world, restlessly in search of the wildest beauty in the world. Means he was restlessly searching the peace or the beauty in the world, which lies not calm in eyes or braided hair, but mocks the steady running of hour. This beauty he searched for in life was not found in simple things like women's eyes or hair. Instead, it was something exciting and different, which he did not follow the normal flow of time. Here he is saying that even though the search made him sad sometime because he is unable to find the real beauty, which he did not find in women's eyes or hair, but he was enjoying the search when he was alive, but he is not dead. So he regrets that he will never be able to search for that beauty again. And if it grieves richlier than her, for by my glee might many men have laughed, and for my weeping something has been left. Here, the second soldier, he is still talking about his regrets. He says that not only does he miss his lost years or hopes, but other people also miss him because his happiness brought smiles for many people, like his family members and friends. So, even out of sadness means weeping, he has left something which will be lost now. So here he wanted to say that he was the reason for their smile when he was alive, but now he is dead. This must die now. I mean the truth untold, the pity of war, the pity war distilled. So here he's saying that something truth is untold. Means here he is not able to share the truth with other people before his death. And what was the truth? The truth of pity of war, the sorrow, the compassion, and the regret for all the destruction, the horror and the disappointment of the war caused. Now men will go content with what be spoiled or discontent, boil bloody and be spilled. They will be swift with swiftness of tigress. So here in this line, the dead soldier in the hell, he regrets that now as he did not get time to tell people about the pity and the futility of war, means the destructions of the war. And now people will continue to glorify war and they'll be content, they'll be happy with the way their soldiers fought and the destructive things their army have done. Means people here they are not realizing that their army destroying others' lives, but they are content that they won the war. He also says that if they are unhappy means discontent, they will become angry. So the meaning boil bloody is suggest warming their blood. That means they'll be angry and they keep fighting and killing each other. And this is spilled, it indicates that they spilling the blood. And he said that he is dead now, so he missed telling people how useless war is. Means they will remain aggressive and full of energy and madness to continue battling with the swiftness of tigress. Means how the tigress aggressively fight, in the same way people of full energy and madness they continue battling with the people. None will break rank though nations trek from progress. So the meaning of this phrase break rank, it means failing to remain in line, means going against the authorities, means no one will go against their government. So here this that speaker is saying that he regrets that nobody will speak against their leaders or disagree with the governments, even though their fighting wars with the nations are moving them away from the progress rather than towards it. Means the nation will work for their people's progress, but here instead of progress they are moving away from the progress. So this line from Owens is a harsh critic on war. Usually, we see nations go for war generally to gain something for the country. But the poet here he says that they never make progress by fighting wars, but moving away from the progress and experiencing destruction. Because due to war, they are losing their lives and their houses. Courage was mine and I had mystery. Wisdom was mine and I had mystery. To miss the march of this retreating world into vain citadels that are not wealth. So here in these lines, soldier shows his frustration. He says that he had the courage, wisdom, and understanding to challenge the war, but now he feels like the world is moving backward. Means here he compares the world to a veins, means a useless fortress, which shows that the war offers no real protection or victory. People were winning the war, they thought they are gaining something. It's not a victory, but they are losing. Here, speaker now talks about how he had the ability to break ranks, to go against the war, to miss the march of this retreating world, because he had the required courage, wisdom, and expertise, and he knew the sad reality of what means. He said that I had mystery, so that means he knows everything. So he could easily speak out against the war, but he could not now because he is dead, he is not alive. So here he thinks that the world is marching backwards. Means retreating is nothing but marching backwards, means going backward. So the civilization is declining due to war. In other words, if you want to say, nothing can protect the soldiers or the city from the devastation of the war. Nothing great or no real victory can be achieved through this war. Now, these are the last lines of the third stanza. Then, when much blood had clogged their chariot wheels, I would go up and wash them from the sweet wells, even with the thirst that lie too deep for taint. I would have poured my spirit without stint, but not through wounds, not on the cess of war. Foreheads of men have bled where no one's were. Soldier, he says that if there was too much bloodshed and destruction due to war, he would have stepped forward, means he will come forward to cleanse it, means he would wash away the blood with water from the pure wells and share the truth, which is so clear and powerful that it cannot be distorted. Means in simpler terms, if the soldier had been alive, means he would have protested against the violence of the war and try to make others see that war is not about glory but about destructions and loss. He would have shown the world that war is pointless, but now he is dead. He cannot do so. So that's why he is regretful and he is sad here. So the soldier here says that he would have spent his life spreading the truth about the war, but not through violence or destruction. He would not use the painful, filthy path of war to teach others, means he would never use the guns and the weapons. Here we can see these line emphasizes that even those who are not physically wounded in the war, like such as the civilians who witness the violence, but they suffer from the mental pain of losing loved ones or seeing the bloodshed. So this emotional suffering leaves deep scars, even if there are no visible wounds. So the soldier himself still feels this pain, and now as he is dead, so he regrets that he can no longer speak against the war. Last stanza. I am the enemy you killed, my friend. I knew you in this dark. For so you frowned yesterday through me as you jabbed and killed. I parried, but my hands were loth and cold. Let's let us sleep now. So here we can see the poem ends suddenly with a shocking revelation. Means the second soldier who is actually the enemy soldier whom the first soldier killed, mean the speaker killed the second soldier the day before, means he's saying yesterday you jabbed and killed me, means the first soldier killed the second soldier in the war. And the first soldier, he recognizes him immediately when the second soldier frowns, means just like he did the day before during the battle. Means frown means there are lines on his foreheads when he was killing the person. So he uh, so he identifies him. So here, when the first soldier means the speaker killed him by stabbing him with a bayonet, means kill him with a knife. So he suddenly identifies him because of his expressions. Soldier means the enemies in the battlefield, they do not actually have personal hatred for each other. They are simply forced to act as enemies because of the war. The second soldier, he goes on to describe how he tried to defend himself, means the word I parried, but my hands were loth and cold. It shows that during the attack he was too exhausted and he was too weak from fighting for so long, so his hands were unwilling, means loth means unwilling to fight back, which led to his death. Let us sleep now. So here finally the second soldier suggests the first soldier, means the speaker, whom he considered his friend, that they should sleep now. So there is nothing left for them to do but sleep and recover from the physical and mental exhaustion caused by the horrors of war. Means they should take rest now, as they are very tired both physically and mentally from the devastation of the war. So here we can see the poem comes to an abrupt end with the second speaker revealing his identity. So now we can come to know that he is the enemy. Strange Meeting is a four stanza poem containing 44 lines. It is one of the lengthy poem of Owen. The first stanza creates a dreamlike setting where we find the speaker escaping from the battlefield to find some peace inside the dark tunnel. The second stanza describes the bizarre landscape with many sleepers groaning there, and finally the speaker identifying it as the hell. And the third stanza, that was the longest and the most important one, that contained the monologue of the dead soldier, means he was the dead soldier describing his suffering, and he reveals the theme of the poem, means the futility of the war. Final stanza that brings the poem to an abrupt end, means with the twist revealing the identity of the dead soldier and spreading the message that there is no real enmity between the soldiers. So, through this poem, Owen employs vivid and sensory imagery throughout the poem to evoke the horrors of the war. So, this is all about the Strange Meeting by Wilfred Owen. I hope it would be helpful for you. Stay tuned for more videos and thanks for watching.